Hello, everyone. Welcome to Three Wide Podcast. How are you guys today? Hope your day's doing great. Mine is. Let's get this Thursday started with a great episode today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'm excited for this one. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. 1 second, I am working on getting 222 in here. Just gonna echo, guys. So actually, never mind. There won't be. Yeah. As soon as I get 222 in here, we'll get started. It should be here momentarily. It'll be just here in a quick second. Let me see here. Just 1 quick second, guys. Like I said, still working on getting 222 in here. Having a little technical difficulties coming into here. Let's see here. We're using Google Hangouts, which is something that me and him are both pretty new to. And let me try here. NASCAR. Here's right there. Invite. Hopefully he got the invite invitation posted. 222, if you're listening, go to your invites on your Google Plus again. And there might be one. I think I found out what the issue was is we weren't live. That might be the issue. We got a little spinny thing here in the corner. Don't know what that's about. Let me see here. Now remember, guys, we got a live chat we got a live chat here. Got my topics right there in the corner now. Microphones off or on, I mean. Settings. One sec, guys. Sorry about the delay here. I promise we will get started today. It'll be a little bit better than this. We're live right now. Add people. Okay, let me see here. I don't want to start new hangout. All right. So NASCAR 222. If you're in here, I'll get you in here in a second. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm still going to work on it, but I do have to get started with our topics. So I'll let you join in here in a sec. Or I will do all I can while with the topics here. So kind of multitask here. We got Talladega to talk about today, and it's going to be a good one. As soon as I get 222 in here, I'll let him have his take on Talladega. But before we start on Talladega, we do have some penalty reports to talk about after Talladega. The first one's a big one, Eric Almirola with an L1 post-race penalty. This was during post-race inspection. And this was, of course, after Talladega, so his Talladega finish will be encumbered. His crew chief will be suspended for 3 races and a $65,000 fine to his crew chief. They'll also lose 35 driver and owner points. That is Richard Petty Racing in the 43 car. So, yeah, big hit for that team. Definitely not what they wanted to see, and it's really unfortunate for them to be in a situation just like that. But that's where they're sitting at right now. So we have another penalty with it. Elliott Sadler in the number 7 car for Tommy Bahn Racing. This is a part-time car this year. They have a lug nut violation, so his crew chief would be fined $10,000. So yeah, that's what happened with. Those are the only 2 penalties that came out at Talladega that were post-race penalties. So yeah, that was that. A fairly short one. Don't have like a lot of big ones there. Well, I mean, we have the Eric Almirola one, but that could be. I guess it could be worse. It's still a pretty big one for them. It's going to hurt them the most, and that's going to be one to watch because for next 3 races, they're not going to have their main crew chief. So yeah, that'd be something to watch. But we got our main topic today is called, the episode is called Roush Redemption, because Ricky Stenhouse Jr. got his first career win. This is actually Roush's first team win in over 3 years. Their last time they won was actually, I believe, I could be wrong in this because I actually didn't have time to look this up. But I believe I want to say it was 2013 with Greg Biffle was their last win. Let me confirm that right quick because I don't want to look like an idiot. One second, guys. Mm, 135 total wins, and let me see here. Okay, so their last one came in 2014, actually. So yeah, still over about 3 years it has been since they have been in victory lane. So it's cool to see Jack Roush be back in victory lane. Really cool to see him back up there. Definitely a good finish. But good fierce battle between the 17 and the 18. And it's really cool to see Stenhouse get his first win. So with that being said, yeah, I mean, like I said, Roush, they've been doing pretty good. I mean, they've been getting on top of things. It's the as we said there, it was the first time in 3 years that they've won, or they've got a win in the win column, and that's great to see. And hopefully this continues on. Actually, NASCAR 222 in the live chat yesterday or last week was talking about how I guess it was live chat last week, or maybe it was no, I want to say it was actually on the Discord during my live stream Sunday. He was, or last Sunday, one or two. Well, I don't remember. At one point, we were talking about Roush Racing. We were talking about how that team is getting up there, and he thinks Stenhouse can win a race by the end of the year. I said, no, I don't see them being up there. And boy, was I wrong. And I'm happy to be wrong in this one because I'm glad to see them back up there in victory lane. So, yeah, I mean, that was that. I'm kind of unprepared because I had a busy week. I did not get the Talladega recap for you guys, or even the top 10 on there. So that was, I usually try to get you guys that. That's try to get that as a little section on the video itself, and I completely blew it off because I didn't even think of it. So because of that, I apologize about that. I don't really have a Talladega recap for you guys. Actually, I could probably get back to it as I'm looking it up here. But we'll go to our next subject instead. Our next subject is the new sponsor for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Little Hugs fruit juice barrels. You know, little barrels that everyone got those little little kids. They come with like different drinks, little different colors and stuff. Well, that company is actually going to be sponsoring Ricky Stenhouse Jr. to have a new paint scheme this week. So not only are they coming off the win, they got a brand new sponsor. So for the Roush Racing Camp right now, and I'm happy to see them finally getting up there and actually being up there in a conversation for things that are other than just being bad. Um, I'm not the biggest Roush fan in the world. I never claimed to be. But you know, after this trouble they've had over the last couple of years, I'm glad to see them up there. It's really cool to see those. At one point they were kind of as a back marker in the last couple of years. You know, with Biffle now no longer there. Um, so I'm actually sorry about the delay. I'm talking about I'm talking to NASCAR 222 here on Twitter and DMs on Twitter, and he's having issues connecting. So I'm trying to help him, guide him through it as we talk here. But anyway, we are you know we're getting to the point now with Roush Racing that they're starting to become guys to talk about again. You know, not just Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Trevor Bayne as well, and and really I am glad to hear that. So there you go. Sorry about the dead air there, guys. Um, so yeah, you know, like I said, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with these new sponsors, these new progressions, it's great to see them there, and continues. Hope it continues. I hope they don't just like fall off. I hate to see that happen. It's happened to a few teams, but I like to see them continue this stuff, and I like to see it where he's not just uh, you know, I like to see where they're not just there, kind of just taking up a space, kind of like what Chris Buescher did last year after he won at Pocono. So that's what I believe on the whole Pocono thing. Or not Pocono. No, I don't want to say Pocono. The whole the whole Ricky Stenhouse getting the win, Roush Fenway Racing getting back in victory lane. Happy to see that. So let's go on to our next topic, which is a big one that came in the news. I've been kind of following this one because I love the back marker teams. That's one thing I love is it back markers. I like to see them being up there. And another back marker is joining us for the first time since 2009. And it's because of a huge fine. And so Carl Long is actually going to return to Cup Series competition after a huge fine of $200,000 and a suspension or an indefinite suspension after an illegal engine. So they're making a big return here, and this is going to be great to see them. This is actually the largest fine in NASCAR history. So it's NASCAR finally retracted it. They said, okay, this is a little bit too much. They finally retracted from the whole. They thought, okay, it was a little too strict, and they decided to just go ahead and have him go back or let him back in competition. And when they did that, it was great news because now we get to see H. Scott Motorsports, or not H. Scott Motorsports, like see Carl Long be back up there, back in Cup competition. He's going to be with a refurbished team or refurbished parts because he purchased his parts from H. Scott Motorsports after they went out of business. He bought one of their chassis, and he's getting his engines built by engine specialist. hopefully he does good. He's making his return here at Kansas. He's running a paint scheme similar to the one he ran in 2009 before he was banned, and he will be driving the number 66 Chevrolet SS. So it's going to be a bright yellow and green car. You can't miss it on the racetrack. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be number 66 with a red 66 on the side. It's going to be a great looking race car. I've seen pictures of it. It looks really cool. So look for that car out there, the number 66 car driven by Carl Long. He's the owner and driver. He's driven in the Xfinity Series for a little bit, and he did quite well. So hopefully we'll see what he does here at Kansas in the 1.5 mile. And back to what I was saying, you have to what was I going to say? Oh yeah. It'd be good to see how he does up here. It's gonna be a cookie cutter racetrack. So it's gonna be one that's common ground for everyone. He ran in the Xfinity Series throughout his ban, and it's gonna be good to see him. It's gonna be good to see him up there, and I think I can't wait to see him see how he does up there. Like I said, H Scott Motorsports car, so it's gonna have the same equipment that Clint Boyer had last year. And oh, he's in. I think he's in. NASCAR 222. Can you hear me? I can hear it clicking around. Might want to mute your thing because we're getting an echo now. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Anyway, back to what I was at. Now NASCAR's 222 in here. I think he's having a little bit of tech issues with his thing on here. I'll actually give the floor to him a little bit once he gets everything figured out. I'll give him a little bit, let him have introduction a little bit. I can hear him.
Hello.
So, yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
What's going on, buddy? Long time, man. It's about time I got in here.
There it is. There it is, guys. Welcome, NASCAR 222. He's going to be our co-host on this channel.
There it is. We finally got the old 222 in here, buddy.
There he is. It's amazing.
Been looking forward to this one, my man. Been looking forward to this one. I got to say, though, the first two shows, they were good. I listened to them a couple times. You did good by yourself, man.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot less dead air now that we're both in here. We can kind of it kind of takes a load off of just one of us where we can kind of, alternate the conversation back and forth. It's going to be a little bit better. It's going to be a lot more fun to listen to as well.
Oh, for sure, definitely, man. I know that feeling myself. Obviously, making videos, pretty much just talking to myself. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So, if you want, I can let you introduce yourself a little bit. Make sure people can let you hear you. Look, we got one viewer live right now, but it's no big deal. We have people listen afterwards as well because I always link the videos after onto my Twitter. But
right, just give me 1 second here. I'm gonna look this thing up on YouTube real quick.
Okay.
1
Go ahead.
second, my man. I want to check the stream because I don't have the stream up on my computer.
Oh yeah. Just go up there, type 3Y podcast.
Okay,
It'll
I
come
got
up.
it. I got it. Okay, I see myself. All right. We're rocking and rolling now, my man. We're rocking and rolling.
Just make sure you mute it because it will start to echo through.
Yeah, I did mute it. It has a little bit of a lag as well, I noticed.
Yeah, it always will because it's a live stream. It's like live TV. It's always delayed.
All right. So what's going on? We finally got the crew going now.
This is great. This is awesome.
We got the team going. We're like the old 3 sheets.
Oh yeah, it only took us 20 damn minutes, but
Only took us 20 damn minutes and 3 damn weeks.
yeah, definitely. But like I was talking about, I don't know how much you heard of this.
First and foremost, sorry to interrupt you there, but just for the viewers out there, unfortunately, I couldn't make the first 2 weeks because I am a junior in college, and I will say I am now successfully a senior. So I have upgraded to senior. Finals went well, and so thank you for allowing me to have the first 2 weeks off, man. You held the fort down, though. You held the fort down.
Yeah, I mean, I started this. I wanted to start this, and I was like, you know what? I want to have my own. I want to have a show where I can like talk about my views on the races and everything like that. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this just by myself. Though. I want to have somebody on there, and me and you talk back and forth plenty of times with the on Discord. And I was like, you know what? Let's see if he wants to do it. And yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, I think this is going to be great.
Yeah, and I think so as well. It's crazy though because I'm a huge NASCAR fan, obviously, but I'm also a huge NHRA fan. And when I first got into YouTube, I wanted to do a NHRA podcast, but I just couldn't get time set up and everything. But I think this NASCAR podcast is going to go well, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see where this goes. So
I got a couple of, I know you were, I didn't know exactly what you were saying because I was actually eating Chick-fil-A. But yeah, but I got a couple of topics I brought kind of just stored up in my brain. I don't have anything written down, but I got a couple of topics I know I definitely want to talk about, but I don't want to interrupt what you were talking about. So I guess, carry on, man.
okay, yeah, I'll carry on with the topic I was talking about. Then I'll let you get to what you were talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Carl Long actually finally being reinstated into the Cup Series and is actually going to make his first start since 2009 in the Cup Series here at Kansas Speedway. And this is a big deal because this was a huge
now,
fine.
does he have a charter system or does he have to qualify his way in?
He will have to qualify his way in. There's not sure, but as far as I can see, there's 39 cars in right now, so he will make the race.
Okay, that is good to see. I gotta say, he's one of the most unluckiest drivers I've ever seen driving NASCAR.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd have to agree with you 100%. He's going to be running a paint scheme extremely similar. Actually, it is the exact same paint scheme he ran in 2009 when he used to drive the number 46 Dodge in 2009 before he was banned. And I wouldn't say he was banned. He was given this huge fine that he couldn't return until he paid. The fine was actually $200,000, and is to this date the biggest fine in NASCAR history. And NASCAR finally just gave up on the fine and reinstated him to Cup. The fine was actually originally for an illegal engine, and he's going to be running on a H. Scott Motorsports chassis that way he purchased after H. Scott Motorsports folded at the end of last year.
Here's what I'll say about that. It's good to see him back. Was he a cheater? I don't know. Some people said he was. What I will say is he's not going to do much, especially at a track like Kansas. Had this been Talladega, had this been Daytona, I would have been a little bit more excited. He's not going to do much. He'll be back to the pack. Won't be on the lead lap. He's not going to be much of a headline at all coming into Kansas.
No, I don't expect him to. But I just think I'm glad to see him back. That's the first step is for him to come back and not really be too loud in the race, but just be there. At least be in the pack at all is definitely a step in the right direction. And over time, I'm sure he'll probably get better equipment. And I mean, my best example of that would be Furniture Row Racing. At first it started with a really small team, just like what he's got right now, and now look at them. They're a championship caliber team every year now.
Yeah, you do bring up a good point. I mean, but he's running a. You said he was running H Scott Motorsports chassis?
Currently, yes. He's only got one car as far as I know of, and it is a H Scott Motorsports chassis. He's not running the entire rest of the season this year. He's only running a couple races. The only one he's got scheduled to race is Kansas. There is no definite set race that he's going to attempt to qualify for after that.
Well, I would assume that's because he's only going to attempt races that he knows he's 100% going to get into, because he's not going to go for a race like Talladega or Daytona where you got 43, 44 guys trying to get in, and it's just a waste of your time pretty much.
Well, yeah, I mean, plus to mention, like I said, he's only got one car as far as I know. I follow him on Facebook, and I've only seen that one car as well as their Xfinity Series car. And, he wouldn't do Talladega because he don't have a plate track car. He's got a super speed, or he's got an oval cookie cutter car. So
You know what?
that's probably another big
You know what
factor
always
too.
boggles my mind though? You got these guys and you got these teams, whether it's BK Racing, Premium Motorsports, some of these other smaller teams. They are just, I mean, their chances in Cup are 1 in a million. Why not go into the Xfinity Series? Why not go into the Truck Series? Why not test the waters in ARCA? You're not going to get anywhere in the Cup Series. I don't understand why you don't start from the bottom and work your way back up to the top, especially when you're a guy like Carl Long and you can get in that Cup Series at any time. Why not start at the bottom with ARCA and work your way up? I just never understood that. You've got these teams like Premium Motorsports. They're wasting their time. They're embarrassing themselves out there. I don't understand why they don't go into lower series, do better, get better results, get a young driver, get a sponsorship. I never understood why they always went straight to the top and just embarrassed themselves. I would rather be competitive in the ARCA series than be 35th and 36th every race in the Cup Series. It's just me. It's just my competitive nature. I know there's
I
not
think
much. I know there's not much money in ARCA and K&N West and K&N East, but I just never understood why these teams shot for the top, continued to fail, and then you look at a team like H. Scott Motorsports. They failed their way out of the Cup Series because they could no longer compete. But you could have been in the ARCA series, you could have been in some of these smaller series and worked your way up rather than being in the top series and completely falling off the face of the earth.
no, I agree. But I think I know. I have a theory as to why they do that, and my theory to that is, it's a money thing. It's a money sport. Everything that they do in this sport is involving money, and I think if you're in a Cup Series level, you're going to get some pretty good sponsors potentially, because that looks a whole lot better than it would be saying, "Oh, I run a K&N series car on a series that's only televised, 5 races out of the year," or I don't know how many it is exactly. I think NBCSN actually covers most of the season. I just don't have NBCSN, so I don't know that for sure. But which I actually need to get it before July, so I can continue watching the season. But anyway, back to the point. I do think that it's a money thing, and I think maybe they could be. A lot of these teams do believe that they could be the next Furniture Row Racing, but they always end up not being it. BK Racing, they've been in the sport for close to.
BK Racing is such a motherfucking joke. Excuse my language. I don't know if you're okay with me swearing on here, but
I personally I don't care.
BK
Go ahead.
Racing is a fucking joke, man. I'm trying not to rage right now because where I'm at right now in Pennsylvania, I'm in my house and I got someone sleeping in the room next to me. I'm trying not to rage, but you brought up BK Racing and I need to say this. They're such a fucking joke. BK Racing to BK Racing has stolen sponsorships. They have a driver whose mommy paid her son's way into a cup car. It's a fucking joke, and Brian France needs to grow some balls and say this is unacceptable.
I agree for you for the most part. I think what their biggest issue is their poor choice in drivers. Now they've had some drivers that end up being decent
Let
drivers.
me say this though. Let me say this. In the past, I have had videos on my channel where I have commended BK Racing because they have chosen good drivers. You had Alex Bowman, who's potentially going to be in the 88 and be a Cup superstar one day. You had
Landon Castle.
you had a JJ Yaley, who is a dirt superstar. Anyone who's been around dirt over the last 10 years know that JJ Yaley is one of the best in the business as far as dirt is concerned, and he's a workaholic. You had these guys that are just. You had Jeb Burton, who I think if I was starting a team today, I would pick Jeb Burton up in an instant. Jeb Burton is a great driver. So you look at BK Racing over the last few years, they have had drivers that are capable of winning races and capable of competing, yet they've still been bottom of the barrel. And it just makes you wonder, what's the point? You have had great drivers in the past. You've gotten absolutely nowhere. And not only have you downgraded, but you've downgraded driver wise. Corey LaJoy and Greg Golding are fucking jokes. I'm sorry. You went from Alex Bowman, and it just goes to show you have Alex Bowman driving in BK Racing material, finishing 30th and 32nd and 34th and 35th, and he gets in Dale Jr.'s Cup car for one race out of the fucking blue and gets a top 5. That just shows you how shitty BK Racing really fucking is.
And they have drivers that are still, to this day with like underfunded teams, but they have so much potential. For example, like I said earlier, Landon Castle. I don't think Landon Castle is a bad driver. I think he's a pretty good driver actually. He just, can't get anywhere, with decent mechanic, decent equipment. Same thing with
there are some really great drivers out there, and one of my favorite drivers. If I had to make a list right now, my top 5 drivers in the Monster Energy Cup Series, David Reagan would be in my top 5. I'm a huge fan of David Reagan. He took front row racing material and put that on in Victory Lane at Talladega. He's won with Roush Racing. You've got David Reagan, who I always feel bad for because he's just one of the nicest guys. He's from my home state of Georgia. He is just a great guy. You look at Reed Sorensen when he was with Ganassi. He won numerous Xfinity races. He sat on pole. You've got, like you just mentioned, you've got Landon Castle. You've got these guys, but there's only so many rides out there. There's only so many opportunities. And, when you get your one shot, you got to make the most of it. And you had David Reagan at Roush Racing. And he won at Talladega and Daytona. But for a team like Roush, that wasn't enough. And he lost his ride, and he's never gotten that second opportunity again. So you have these guys. And like I said, some of these guys are shooting for the stars too early. There's no reason for Greg Golding to be in the Cup Series. Yes, maybe Greg Golding can be a good driver at some point in time, but he should be in the Truck Series. He should still be in the K&N East or West Series. He is too young. He's not developed. There is no way in hell you're going to tell me that Greg Golding deserves a ride over a guy like J.J. Yeley, a guy like Jeb Burton, a guy like Alex Bowman. You have these top guys that are capable and have proven themselves to us. A guy like David Gilliland, who pushed David Reagan to that win at Talladega. But you are going to choose Greg Golding and Corey LaJoy, two nobodies, two guys that are just in the way week in and week out. You are choosing them over proven drivers, and it just boggles my mind.
Actually, funny you talk about Corey LaJoy, because that number 83 car, they lost such a big opportunity with Matt DiBenedetto. That's another one I believe that Matt.
Let me say this. Big part of that, and I respect the hell out of Matt DiBenedetto for that. A lot of people don't know that, but Matt DiBenedetto chose to leave BK Racing. Matt DiBenedetto knew that probably Greg Golding was going to be his teammate in 2017 if he were to stay at BK Racing, and he said, "There's no way in hell that I will be a teammate with Greg Golding. There's no way in hell I will drive for this shitty company anymore." And as bad as Go Fast Racing is on an increase. And we've seen it. We've seen it this year. Matty Benedetto. I will tell you one thing. Within the next 3 to 4 years, you will see Matty Benedetto in a relative cup team, and he will be a consistent threat to win races. He has caught everybody's attention. Maybe not like Ryan Blaney has, maybe not like Chase Elliott has, maybe not like Austin and Ty Dillon, but one of these teams is going to open up a spot to Matty Benedetto. And look, a lot of people don't know this, but Matty Benedetto was in the Joe Gibbs Racing development system, and Joe Gibbs dropped him. Joe Gibbs had Eric Jones. They had William Byron at the time, and they knew of this kid in Mexico, Daniel Suarez, that they were probably going to have a chance to bid on. They had to drop somebody, and they decided to drop Matty Benedetto. But one of these teams will pick him up. Maybe Junior Motorsports will give him a ride when Elliott Sadler retires. One of these big teams, whether it be Xfinity or Cup, will eventually give Matty Benedetto a ride.
It's funny talking about Junior Motorsports, actually, because I was going to catch up with you right quick. I was going to ask you about a couple topics that we talked about in the last 2 weeks. If you remember the very first episode, we talked about
throw them out there. Throw them out there, buddy.
So the very first episode was, I believe, it was. I announced the podcast the day Dale Jr. retired. That was completely by coincidence too, because I actually filmed that the day before.
A day that will go down in history.
Absolutely, and I was going to add, and that was actually the main topic of the very first episode of Three Wide Podcast, was talking about Dale Jr. retiring. And so I want to ask you personally. We talked back and forth with this on Twitter, but just so everyone that listens in, I want to know your take on that. What do you think is the future of Hendrick Motorsports and the future of the 88 car?
I have a lot of different opinions, and I was going to make a video on my main channel, but I just haven't had the time. I was trying to remodel my channel. I privated all my videos and whatnot, but that's for another discussion. But I have said this before. I have said this after Alex Bowman drove in that 88, got in it, drove significantly better than Dale did, drove better than Jeff Gordon did. Alex Bowman got into that 88 last season. Cold feet, didn't have much practice. He was finishing better than Casey Kane. He was finishing better than Jimmy Johnson in some races. He was finishing better than Chase Elliott in some races. If Alex Bowman does not get this 88, or if they don't drop Casey Kane and give Alex Bowman the 5, if Alex Bowman is not a full-time driver for Hendrick Motorsports next year, I will be fucking outraged. I will be shit-faced. I will be outraged. I will not understand it. There is absolutely no reason why Alex Bowman should not be in that 88. He's great friends with Dale Jr. He already works for Hendrick Motorsports. He's a simulation driver for Hendrick Motorsports as we speak. He's loyal. He's being loyal to Hendrick Motorsports. I do not understand. He's talented. He got in that car. He was cold. He didn't have any practice. He hadn't been in a car for over a year. I don't understand why you wouldn't give him the ride. Now, that being said, there were a couple different options outside of Alex Bowman that we can speculate from. But my opinion on this is if Alex Bowman doesn't get the 88, I will be 100% shocked. Now, you want to talk about outside of Alex Bowman, there's a couple different scenarios you can talk about. The first one being Justin Allgaier. Now, Justin Allgaier, obviously driving for Junior Motorsports, he was in a really screwed up situation with H. Scott Motorsports, and Justin Allgaier is the perfect, just kind of poster boy for making the most out of nothing.
Justin has a solid sponsorship too, by the way.
Exactly, and Justin Allgaier was driving for a really shitty team with H. Scott Motorsports. A really shitty team. I mean, look what Clint Bowyer's done. He went from Michael Waltrip to H. Scott Motorsports. Was driving as bad. Clint Bowyer looked worse than anybody last year. There were races where Clint Bowyer was worse than BK Racing, was worse than Premium Motorsports. He was a circus clown. I nicknamed him Bozo last year. But he went from that to now being a legitimate championship contender. It's all about equipment. But you have a guy like Corey LaJoie with BK Racing. You have a guy like Justin Allgaier with H. Scott Motorsports. Justin Allgaier, no, he didn't make top tens. But he didn't crash the car. He didn't wreck the car. He drove smartly. He drove his ass off. And yeah, he finished top 10 and top 15 and top 20 a couple of different occasions, and that caught Dale Jr.'s eye. He gets in the junior motorsports, and you know what? And if you've been watching the Xfinity Series, I know some people don't. If you've been watching the Xfinity Series lately, Justin Allgaier has been on fire. He's been up there competing with the Cup guys.
Yep.
So if you weren't going to give the ride to Alex Bowman, if Justin Allgaier wins the championship this year in the Xfinity Series, that's a legitimate choice. I don't think too many people would argue if you gave the 88 to Justin Allgaier. I think a lot of people would wonder why you didn't give it to Alex Bowman. But hey, maybe you want to give Alex Bowman the 7 car in the Xfinity Series, and you want to move Justin Allgaier back up to Cup. Now, there's a couple other scenarios you could go to as well. A lot of people are speculating, is this the right time to move William Byron up?
I think it's a little too early, personally. I think that's who's going to get up there anyway, only because, once again, solid sponsorship. There's money involved in that. And, I mean, the kid can drive, but I think it's way too early for him, personally. Like I said, he got 7 wins in the Truck Series last year. That's unheard of. He even won. If they would have done the old point system, he would have been the champion by far. But with the chase, it of course was Johnny Sauter. But even the last race was won by William Byron. The kid is a great driver. I just think it's too early. That's what's struggling with him in the Xfinity Series. I mean, he's like 3rd in points right now, but he's not getting the finishes to be expected after such an impressive season last year.
Definitely, in my mind, it would be way too early for William Byron to come up. I don't see.
Exactly.
I don't see. I think William Byron in the next couple of years will get his call into the Sprint Cup, into the Cup Series, and he will be a future champion. He'll be one of the future faces of NASCAR. I just think he's just way too young. It's way too early, and there's so many young faces. And you look at, there are so many guys that. And I think that's one of the things. It's like you see Jeff Gordon leave. You see Tony Stewart, which for me was the most heartbreaking because Tony Stewart was the whole reason I started watching NASCAR. And now you're seeing Dale Jr. leave, and I know Carl Edwards wasn't quite on the same level as face of one of the faces of NASCAR as those 3, but Carl Edwards was a face in NASCAR as well. And a lot of people are saying, where do we turn next? And there are a lot of great opportunities, a lot of great faces, even in the Truck Series. You look at a guy like Christopher Bell. I think Christopher Bell is going to be one of the faces of NASCAR within the next 5 to 10 years. So you look at the Truck Series, you look at the Xfinity Series, there are guys that aren't really even getting that much attention. Look at a guy like Bubba Wallace. He could potentially be up there with the Chase Elliott's and the Ryan Blaney's and the Kyle Larson's within the next 5 years. And then you can go as far deep as the K&N East and West Series, and you can see Harrison Burton and Todd Gilliland, 2 more guys that within the next 5-10 years could be the face of NASCAR.
Absolutely.
So, exactly.
What was I going to say with that? Oh yeah. Bubba Wallace, he's been in the talks of not taking an 88 car, but he's been in the talks of getting in Cup within the next couple of years. So I think the biggest problem, and the reason why a lot of these drivers end up getting so early, is because a lot of teams are afraid of losing these good drivers. It's happened to a few drivers where they waited way too long and then they lost them. I think Chris Buescher is one of them, to be honest. Buescher, he was solid ride with Roush and Roush affiliates with Front Row Motorsports, and although Roush he's kind of in a placeholder right now with JTG Doherty Racing, but he's kind of more branching out towards the Chevrolet teams, particularly the RCR teams, because he's with that affiliated team now, and I'm pretty sure JTG Doherty. Is it a Hendrick or is it a Childress affiliate? I want to say it's a Childress affiliate, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
JTG Daughtry Racing is a Childress affiliate.
Okay, exactly. And actually, now there's rumors actually coming out later or earlier today. Like as I was looking at research for this video, I saw a video, a leaked picture, kind of similar to what happened to when somebody leaked the 25 car early when Chase Elliott was going to drive it. Somebody just did it today with the number 33 car for Rich Tillis Racing, and Brandon Jones was on the side of the car. And I think so. With people getting up there so quickly with Brandon Jones like that, I think there's potential that Chris Buescher could.
Wait. Jeffrey Earnhardt is currently driving the 33 right now.
Yes.
So I don't understand how Brandon Jones would have the 33 in the Cup Series.
I didn't understand that either at first. I looked into it a little bit more. According to what I have seen, even so, it's no secret that the 33 car, the 33 race team, they are affiliate with RCR. I mean, that's obvious. And so with this being said, it's going to be similar to a thing that Circle Sport did with the 33 car a couple of years back when Lana Castle was driving with it. And then they also did it with I want to say it was Ty Dillon, where every once in a while
it was Ty Dillon and Michael McDowell.
Was it Michael McDowell?
Yeah, they shared a ride. It was the Michael McDowell left the 95. He drove the 59 for a few races, and they were putting Ty Dillon in the 95.
No, I'm talking about a couple years before that. There was 1 year where Ty Dillon drove for like 2 races. It was one of them was a Youngling beer car.
Oh, the
Youngling
car.
lager car. Number 33. It was number 33 Youngling lager.
That is a damn good beer, by the way. It's my favorite.
I've never had it. I mean, I'm not even 20 yet, so. But anyway, so he drove that paint scheme. Beautiful car, by the way, for 2 races. But that number was actually ran by someone else. I want to say it was Circle Sport at the time. And it was somebody else driving that car for that year. I want to say it was 2013. I want to say Morgan Shepherd drove it for most of that year, because that was when the whole Logano age controversy started. And
if you go way back when Clint Boyer was at RCR, he was driving the 33 car full time.
Oh yeah. There's no secret the 33 car's got a long history with RCR. There's no secret there. Even Austin Dillon drove for a couple of races in 2012. Drove the American Ethanol car. It was number 33.
And fun little story. I was in I was at a motorsports show before the season started, a few weeks before Daytona, in Oaks, Pennsylvania, and I actually had the opportunity to meet Jeffrey Earnhardt. I talked to him for a little bit. Just such a nice guy, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. If you ever get the chance to meet him, sit down with him. He's just a great guy, and he got on stage. There was maybe Richard Petty was there, so there was thousands of people who have flew in from out of town to meet Richard Petty, and Jeffrey Earnhardt announced that he was going to be a full-time driver. So there is no speculation if he's driving this part-time season that Brandon Jones is going to hop in the car for a couple of races. Jeffrey Earnhardt said to me and to thousands of people in Oaks, PA, that he was driving full-time in 2017. No ands, ifs, or buts.
No doubt. I mean, he is running this full season. But I'm just going by what I seen. It was a red car. The sponsor on it was Next Tier. It was a Cup Series chassis, Monster Energy banner, and everything. And Brandon Jones was above the window net.
Okay.
That's all I know. That's what everyone knows.
If I'm not mistaken, he drives the Next Tier. He drives the Next Tier Camaro in the Xfinity Series. So was it not just an Xfinity Series car?
No, it was a Chevy SS. I've seen the picture of myself.
It was a Chevy. Was this on J-Ski?
It was not on J-Ski. It was on Facebook, actually. It was a picture on Facebook from actually a diecast web Facebook page, believe it or not. And it was a blurry picture. There was no way it could have been faked. Like, it was there. It was right there. It was a Chevy SS. It said Monster Energy on the banner, and it was a Brandon Jones above the door. and it was the 33 style that the Clint Boyer style 33. Ironically enough, my 03 on my main channel, Brent Tannick, that was actually created by a 33 template. But anyway, just a little side thing. It was that font. It was the the regular RCR 33 font, and it said next year, and it was an all red car with a little like red and white stripe on the side. And it was a 33. It said Brandon Jones on it, Monster Energy car. No doubt about it.
Here's what I'm thinking. Richard Childress may have thrown Brandon Jones into a Cup car for some sort of Goodyear tire test, just to see how he would get, just to give him some seat time. Is that a possibility? He just got him into he's just going to throw him into a Cup car for a Goodyear tire test, maybe to get him acclimated with some of the stuff that's different between a Cup car and Xfinity Series car?
Not likely, and here's why. Usually with those tire tests, you remember back when they used to do the NASCAR preseason Thunder, and used to televise it live?
Oh, yeah,
The matte black cars, that's what they do with tire tests. I've seen them. I watched them live. They're just the matte black cars with the number on the side. This is a full-on paint scheme. This was a car race ready. It had the decals on the side and everything.
Well, when this stream is over, definitely send me a picture of that through.
I'm about to right now. Actually, I'm on in Twitter DMs.
Yeah, definitely send me that. I'd like to take a look at that. A fun fact is Brandon Jones is actually my favorite Xfinity Series driver. So he's from my home state, Georgia. So Georgia. So I'm a big Brandon Jones fan.
Georgia.
Gotta say it like we do, man.
But yeah, that's all I've seen is that picture, and it asked if Brandon Jones could potentially run a few select races this year, which makes no sense because Jeffrey Earnhardt is running full time this year in the number 33. But you can't deny that. That is a Chevy SS with a Monster Energy banner.
I'm logging into my my messages right now.
It's kind of hard to see the name on the thing, the name rail, but you can still tell it's Brandon Jones by looking at it because it's the exact same font. Even though it's blurry, you can't really read it. It's the exact same font they used on his Xfinity Series cars. So it's his name. There's no doubt about it. And that's not a Jeffrey Earnhardt car, and plus it's in the RCR shop. So.
Oh man, that is
That's interesting, isn't it?
If this is a true picture, there's a lot of things in this picture that are blurry.
Yeah, I mean,
it definitely looks like that name says Brandon, though.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it says Brandon Jones. And like I said, it's the exact same font they used on both his trucks when he ran in the Truck Series and the Cup Series car, or the Xfinity Series cars, I mean.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's...
And for people that are watching this after the stream, we'll try and put a link in the description of this picture we're definitely talking about. We'll put it in the description box. We'll put a link in the description box for people who click on this video after the live stream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
I just gotta lower my voice a little bit. I'm not in the best spot right now. Some people around me are sleeping.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's late there. That's the thing. That's the thing, though. I live in Mountain Time. In Mountain Time Zone. I live in El Paso, Texas, so it's on the western side of Texas. Okay, and actually, where I live in the state of Texas is actually under the state of New Mexico. I live a mile away from the Mexico border, and so that's why I tried to make a time that's not like too late, but also a time where it's not too early for me because I got class. I need to prepare for this today, and like I said, I had today I actually signed my my W-4 papers for my job, and
yeah, congrats on the new job, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, funny thing you say that at this, and I hate to do this, but we might actually have to change the date because I it's a part-time job right now because I'm in college. It's the only thing I could really do because it takes most of my day up. And
Yeah, I was thinking as well. Thursdays aren't really the best for me.
They're
I'd be better off on a Friday or a Saturday, or maybe definitely Friday or Saturday would be better.
I put the link to the picture on Messenger, or not Messenger, on the live chat, and I'll put it on the. Actually, it's actually in a Twitter message, so I don't know if it's going to pop up for everybody else. But um, I'll also put a link to the picture in the description once we get done with this. So with the stream, I'll edit the description. I'll put it in there. Um, I gotta finish with my topics now. So this one's going to get you fired up a little bit.
Are you
You
doing
ready for this one?
before you start that? Do you have classes in the summer?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have a summer break. The way my classes are, it's kind of weird. So I'm taking my classes for automotive technology because I want to be a mechanic for my career. And so our classes are in. I have so my school is 5 hours a day, and I actually have two classes in those 5 hours. I have a 4 hour class and then a 1 hour class. As strange as that is, and my 4 hour class is my main class, which is like an automotive related one. Right now I'm in brakes, which we just started this week in this term. And my second class is a core class, is required to graduate from a university because my school is considered a university. It's and right now I'm taking like right now it's spreadsheets, which is working with Microsoft Excel, and so that's basically how the college works for me. And I don't really have a summer break because of that, because it just goes from term to term. Like each term is like 12 weeks. Like every 6 weeks we have a midterm. So, or a midterm or a final, whichever one is happens to be that week. And after those finals, every 12 weeks we have a different term, and I have a total of 10 terms, resulting in 2 full years. So I'm actually going to be, or not 2 full years, but in 2 years over time, because I actually started in February 14th of this year, and I'll end in May of 2018.
Okay, okay. Now, what kind of cars do you plan on working on? Just typical mechanic stuff, or do you want to get into the racing side of mechanics?
I want to get into racing eventually. So right, the way I plan on starting is I want to start with a dealership, like a regular dealership. I mean, I'm a Chevrolet full on bow tie guy, full and full. I'm actually getting ready to get a tattoo here pretty soon of the original 1911 Chevy logo on my arm.
Oh,
And
oh, whoa, 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 whoa! That's big time. That is big time dedication.
oh yeah, ever since I first started watching NASCAR, it was about the same time I first started getting involved in cars. My whole family is everything cars, and that was like when I was 3 years old. That was 2001, and so ever since I've been a full bow tie GM guy, and I've always wanted to get this tattoo for quite some time, and as soon as I can afford it, I'm gonna talk to my uncle's artist, because my uncle's got full on tattoos, and but then that's for a different story. But anyway, um, so I plan on starting a dealership, and eventually I plan on going to United Technical Institute, where they have a NASCAR class in Mooresville, North Carolina, where eventually it's going to be expensive as hell, but I plan on eventually doing it.
You know what's?
And
Let me ask you a trivia question here. Which NASCAR Cup Series team has employed the most UTI employees?
ooh, I'm going to take a wild guess here. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to take a wild guess and say Junior Motorsports because it's right next door.
Oh, it would be Team Penske.
Really? No kidding.
Mostly all of their mechanics or whatever it is they do at UTI, mostly all of them are employed by Team Penske, the best team in NASCAR.
That's up for debate. But anyway,
And that's not up for debate. That is true 100% fact. Donald Trump said so.
what was I going to say? Um, Actually, I would love to work for Team Penske, to be 100% honest, because I love IndyCar and I love NASCAR. I love both of those series, and those are both of the ones they specialize in. And if I got an opportunity to work for both of work with both of those cars and franchises, that would be like the ultimate dream right there. Although I'm not too big about Team Penske or their drivers, and you
I
know
guess
this.
this is my time to hit the mute button.
I knew this was going to be another good idea. I'm a Hendrick guy. You're a Penske guy. We're going to clash all the time. That's going to be a lot of fun for the
I
listeners.
don't have anything wrong with Hendrick Motorsports. Just stay away from Joe Gibbs.
For me, see, I have nothing against any driver, really. I mean, until they start to get a reputation I don't like. Not saying they're going to be bad drivers, or not saying they are like, bad people or whatever. But until they do something I don't like, I'm okay with every driver, no matter what race team they race for. I don't like. It's not like I don't like Joey Logano or Brad Keselowski because they've raced for Penske. In fact, I can't stand people that are like that.
Here's the thing here's the big reason I can't root for Joe Gibbs Racing, and it's really the only reason. Toyota. I don't have time for that Chinese bullshit. This is goddamn America.
Oh, that was great. That was amazing. Oh, boy.
In this country, we eat with spoons and forks, not fucking wood sticks. And therefore, I have to support the Americans. Ford as number one, and Chevy a far distant second.
See, where was I going to go with this? Oh, yeah. See, on this channel, I'm going to try not to be biased with anyone, whether I like, Penske or Joe Gibbs or any of them. Personally, I'm going to, I'm just going to say, tell the news how it is and give my opinion on it. But, I'm kind of letting that out right now. I'm not the biggest fan of Brad Keselowski or Joey Logano.
I may just have to leave this TV show.
I knew that that's to be 100% honest. That's another reason why I wanted you to be on here, because we're going to clash back and forth, and we're going to start arguing with each other, and it's going to be fun for the listeners. Kind of like Tyndall and Haggy on Three Sheets Live.
But yeah, we got to change the date. I can't really do Thursdays.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change the dates here pretty soon anyway. I just want to do Thursdays as like a starting thing. Eventually it'll alternate, or not alternate, but eventually we'll have a new set time. I try not to do it on the weekends originally because that's when the racing is. And
Although what you could do is do a little post race show.
I was thinking about that. I was actually thinking about doing that. And
do a post race show.
I believe I talked about that on my most recent live reaction video at the Talladega one. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, you know what? That might be a pretty good idea for Three Wide Podcast. And yeah, I mean that I tossed that around. I thought it'd be a good idea. I don't know how it would work, but I guess it would kind of like be similar to what we do usually on here, is where I talk about the top 10 finishers. And then here, on the main show here on the main channel, videos, main podcast, we'll talk about things that happened out throughout the week, like penalties. I always begin this show with the penalty reports. Like today, I talked about Eric Almirola's penalty, and then Elliott Sadler's penalty, because there's only two post race penalties that really were given out this week. By the way, you heard about those two, right? Hello? Uh-oh. I think Maya just lost him there. Maybe you guys lost me. Can you hear me? Hello? Anyway, yeah, I think we might have just lost him
That's the
here.
story of how I got kicked out of Best Buy.
Okay then.
You know, you,
Well, that
you
was
walk you
interesting.
walk into Best Buy with a wife beater on, and you just heard screaming. Greg Biffle has now retired. People will typically get mad at you.
You know what's pretty funny there? The whole conversation you just talked about. The only thing I heard, this is just like
And I'm
you see in the
I'm
movies.
looking at the guy. I'm looking at the guy, thinking to myself, what
Can you
is it
hear me?
right now that has you staring me down?
Can you hear me right now? Hello? I think we're having a little bit of technical issues here. Because I can't hear him, or I can hear him, but apparently he can't hear me. So, but anyway, I need to go to the. Let me finish what I'm talking about here. The Keselowski made their final appeal with their penalty. I believe it was after Phoenix. They had their final appeal. It was denied by NASCAR, so therefore the penalty does still stand for the number 2 car, Brad Keselowski and Paul Wolf. So that's a problem there. That's a problem for the number 2 team. Their penalty is still withholding. The suspension still counts. The 35 points drop still counts. And this is not good because after last week, they had their huge hit with both race teams. And the bad luck is just continuing for Team Penske this year, and hopefully their luck turns around this year because I hate to see them this team not perform to their best in points and in the numbers race, as in points and in the playoffs because of rules and penalties and all that. So hopefully their luck turns around. Another topic I want to talk about is the trucks are returning to Kansas. The trucks didn't race at Talladega, but they'll be back They've been off a couple weeks, and they'll be off. They'll be back this week. The Truck Series will be racing at Talladega or at Kansas, and the Truck Series always brings a good show. Last year, William Byron won last year's Truck Series race after spinning out the leader and go on to win. So that's something to look forward to here at Kansas. It's a good Truck Series race. Happens every year here, or happens every year there, I should say. And it's going to be a good one to watch. And
At first, it was kind of creepy about hearing about it because I didn't believe it. Sophomore Sydney Saban tells us the student body.
Hey, NASCAR 222, can you hear me?
Police say an 18-year-old student approached a 14.
Anyway, we got one, and my final topic is the Kansas preview. Kansas. So we got a pretty good weekend lined up. It's a cookie cutter race. A lot of people don't like the cookie cutters. I personally have been to Kansas Speedway. I love the track. It's a great track. One that I think is going to be a really good one to watch, and it's going to be a good one for us. So hopefully we'll go to Kansas. Hopefully we'll have a good Cup race. As well as a good truck race. I'm anticipating a good truck race after a big return with these guys. The trucks never seem to disappoint, and I don't expect them to this time either. So that's our show today, guys. That's our show tonight. NASCAR 222, are you there?
Safety of our student body is our number one priority. Assault of any kind in our schools is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. School police took immediate action on the matter.
All right, so I guess he's not there anymore. I don't know what happened to him, but so I'll close it out tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening and for tuning in. For those watching after the fact, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys tuning in, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. I believe will be Thursday. I believe. I'll see you guys then. So NASCAR 222 got kicked out of Best Buy. That's what I got out of this. And so thank you guys so much for watching. See y'all next time.